So next up is the class discussion on the surface area of cones, okay? We want to find the surface area. The surface area is the area of the outside part, okay? So the area of the bottom and the area of the wrapping around the top. Okay, so before we even start, there's one thing that we do need to remember. The distance around the circle, the circumference of the circle. Does anyone remember how to calculate the circumference of the circle? The length of one rotation around a circle. All right, Santino said 2 pi r. That is correct. The circumference, the length around the circle, which I wrote in red, is 2 pi r, the length around the circle. Okay. So we want to find the surface area. We want to find each part, the area of each part of this net. Question 1 on slide number 5 is, how do you find the area of the bottom circle? All right, so the area of the bottom circle, this circle right here, how do I find this area? What's the area of a circle? Pity says pi r squared. That is correct. We learned that the area of a circle is pi times the radius. Actually, let me just write this on black. Pi r squared. Okay. So this part, pi r squared, and we're going to add it with the top part. We're going to add these two together to find the area of the surface area of the whole thing, of the whole net. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, this top wedge right here, I'm going to copy what's on the slide onto this thing. I'm going to cut up this shape into multiple wedges. Okay, so as you can see, I've cut up this wedge into multiple wedges here. Question number 2 is, what shapes do you see inside this top wedge? So like after I cut it up, what shapes do they make once I cut it up? These are triangles, okay? I made triangles. And what is the area of a triangle? What is the area of a triangle? Base times height divided by 2. There's 2 triangles that fit in a parallelogram. So it'll be base times height divided by 2, since 2 fit in a parallelogram. I'll do base times height divided by 2. Okay? But we can be a little more specific than writing base times height divided by 2. So first of all, what is the base of all of these triangles? The base of all these triangles is this red part. And when you wrap this, if you refold it back into the cone, this bottom part wraps around this circle right here. Okay? So Santino told us that the circumference of this circle is 2 pi r. Since this length wraps around this length perfectly, and this is 2 pi r, that means that this is also 2 pi r. This length right here, the base, is also, 2 pi r. Okay, since this length wraps around this length perfectly. The base of all of these triangles add up to 2 pi r. So I'm going to rewrite this. I'm rewriting this. But instead of writing b, I'm going to write 2 pi r instead of b. Okay? Now we have height. We have to write the height here. Now, if I look at all of these triangles, we can actually find a height that's related to one of these letters right here. if I was able to cut these triangles up so thin, so thin, if I was a magician, I could make it infinitely thin. The length, the height would actually just be the length from here to here. What is this length from here to here? What is that length? That length is L. From here to here is the slant height. From here to here. That's also the height of this triangle. So instead of writing H, I'm going to replace it with my slant height, L. All right, 2 pi r L over 2. I'm going to simplify that actually. 2 pi r L over 2. In algebra, you learned that if you have 2 apples and you divide it between 2 people, each person gets 1 apple. If you take a number divided by that number, they cancel out and becomes 1. I have a 2 on the top. I have a 2 on the bottom. I could cross these out and they cancel out. And I'm just left with pi r L. So the surface area of the whole thing, remember we're trying to find the area of this plus this. That's the surface area of the entire cone. So I'm going to take this pi r L plus the area of this, which is pi r squared. And that is the surface area of my cone. Pi r L plus pi r squared. Of course, you could factor it out, do pi r times L plus r, but this is one way to write the surface area.